On a chilling Christmas night, nestled amidst a blanket of fresh snow, the Bremen town of Kentucky was preparing for a festive celebration, completely oblivious to the impending doom that was about to unfold. The town, adorned with twinkling lights and merry decorations, was filled with heartwarming laughter, joyous carols, and the sweet aroma of baked goods wafting through the still icy air. Children, bundled up in their warmest clothes, excitedly built snowmen and engaged in playful snow fights. Parents watched on, their eyes filled with love and contentment, happy to see their little ones reveling in the holiday spirit. Inside cozy homes, families gathered around crackling fireplaces, sharing stories, laughter, and the warmth of love. Every corner of Bremen was alive with the magic of Christmas, brimming with shared memories and a sense of community. As the clock struck 12, marking the culmination of a day filled with joy and merriment, the atmosphere began to shift. An ominous hum filled the air as the wind started to pick up speed. The serene white landscape was soon marred by a dark, swirling menace. The once joyous laughter and chatter were replaced by terrified screams and desperate prayers. Suddenly, the previously peaceful town was under a relentless attack. A monstrous tornado, devoid of mercy, tore through the heart of Bremen. The force of the fierce winds was so immense that it ripped through homes and buildings as if they were mere paper. Personal items, cherished mementos, and precious photographs were lifted off their places, trapped in the whirlwind's merciless grip. The catastrophic event turned Christmas night into a horrifying nightmare. People scrambled to find shelter, their faces etched with fear and disbelief. The town was plunged into chaos, as the tornado wreaked indiscriminate havoc, destroying everything in its path. The tornado's onslaught ended as abruptly as it had begun, leaving behind a trail of devastation. The fierce winds carried away personal items and photographs, scattering them across states miles away from their original. One man, living over 120 miles away, discovered a photograph of an older woman in his backyard. His life was filled with the usual humdrum monotony of suburban existence until this point. The day was as insignificant as the rest, with a sky painted in the same shade of blue. As he stepped into his backyard, the sunlight glimmering warmly on the grass, his life was about to change in a way he could never anticipate. He came across the photograph quite accidentally. It was hidden among the fallen leaves and clumps of earth, tossed aside by someone or carried by the wind from a place far away. The photograph was an intrusion into his otherwise ordinary existence, a piece of someone else's life somehow finding its way into his. Not just any piece, but a face, woman, older and with eyes that held a world of secrets. The image was haunting in its own way. Partly torn and weathered by the elements, it bore the marks of time and distance. The wind, the rain, the dust, the sun, all had left their impressions on it, like scars on the face of an old soldier. The woman's eyes in the image held a story that was yet to be told. They were the eyes of a woman who had seen a lifetime flash by, filled with joy, sorrow, love, loss, trials, and triumphs. Her eyes were not the vacant stare of someone who had given up. They were fiery, burning with a spark that wouldn't die. They held a story, and the man could not escape their pull. He was not just intrigued, he was captivated. Her story was untold, unfinished. It was a book with pages torn, a song with notes missing. The man felt a sense of responsibility wash over. It was not a compulsion, but a calling. Who was this woman? What was her story? Where was she now? These questions echoed in his mind like an unsolved mystery. He knew he could not ignore them. He had to find out. He had to know. He was no detective. He was just an ordinary man. But in his heart, he felt a determination that was extraordinary. This was his quest now. Not just to return a photograph, but to complete a story that was begging to be told. A story lost in time, but found by him. He had a journey ahead, one that would take him down roads he had never traveled. This quest was more than just about a photograph. It was about a woman's untold story that he had now become a part of. Driven by a sense of responsibility, he began his quest to find the owner of the photograph. Meanwhile, another woman, living over 100 miles away, found a photograph stuck to her car window. It was an ordinary day. She had just returned from her daily grocery run when her eyes fell upon an unexpected sight. There, clinging to her vehicle, an object out of place. It was a photograph. Not just any photograph, but one that would etch itself into her memory. The photograph was foreign, an intruder in her world of routine and normalcy. It seemed to have hitched a ride, journeying hundreds of miles on the whim of a gust of wind. Its presence on her car window was a testament to the whimsical, unpredictable nature of life. She picked up the photo, a piece of someone else's reality now clenched between her fingers. The image was of a family from Dawson Springs, Kentucky. A town she knew only from its name had been splashed across the news for the past few days, a symbol of devastation and loss. A small town, uprooted by a powerful, merciless tornado, now reduced to mere ruins. The family in the picture seemed happy, content. They were seated on a porch, bathed in the warm glow of a summer afternoon. A couple with their children, a dog lazing at their feet, a house filled with stories behind them. It was a slice of Americana to simpler times. Smiling faces, unaware of the impending disaster that would rip apart their world. She couldn't help but notice the stark contrast between the tranquility in the photograph and the chaos brought by the tornado. The image was the epitome of irony, a relic from a time before their lives spun into disarray. It was a stark reminder of the transience of life, a monument to the devastation that nature can bring on without warning. The photograph was a stark reminder of the devastation caused by the tornadoes and the lives uprooted in their wake. It served as a silent appeal for empathy, a call to action, a symbol of the resilience of the human spirit, and a reminder of the power of nature. The photograph, having traveled over 100 miles, had found its purpose: to bear witness to a tragedy and to inspire compassion in a stranger's heart. As the days passed, the tales woven by these monochrome snapshots began to disperse, spiraling through the whispers of the town, stirring a sense of unease among the residents who were still trying to grapple with the reality of their situation. Each haunting image had a story to tell, a narrative that gave life to the inanimate. They spoke not through words but in the language of silent pain and resilience, stirring emotions that had been barely contained. The townsfolk had begun their slow, painful journey towards healing, only to be confronted by these photographs. Each frame was a stark retelling of that fateful night, serving as a grim reminder of the chilling Christmas night when the world as they knew it was torn asunder. The photographs brought back the nightmarish visions of the swirling, monstrous tornadoes that had wreaked havoc on their peaceful township. Much like the town's landscape, the memories of that night were still raw and scarred. The images, akin to salt on these fresh wounds, stirred discomfort, a terrible sense of déjà vu. The photographs were not just pieces of paper with frozen moments. They were the incarnations of their shared trauma, the tangible proof of their collective memories. Day by day, the unease grew. It seeped into the foundations of the town, infusing an atmosphere of tension that was impossible to ignore. People began to see their own fear and apprehension reflected in the eyes of their neighbors. Conversations petered out into uncomfortable silences, the images fueling the flames of their shared trauma. The photographs to them become the town's silent narrators, recounting the tale of their misery with every passing glance. Residents spent their days in a somber state, attempting to rebuild their lives while fighting off the icy fingers of fear that the photographs evoked. These images were a testament to their past, a dark chapter they wished to forget but were constantly reminded of. The townsfolk found solace in unity, their shared experiences and memories binding them together like a patchwork quilt, sheltering them from their own haunting past. The photographs had become the ghost of the Christmas past, awakening the dormant maelstrom of emotions within the residents. Even as they tried to move forward, the past held them in its iron grip, refusing to let go. The images served as a grim reminder of the chilling Christmas night, forever etched in their memories. In the end, it was the collective efforts of the strangers who found the photographs that led to their rightful owners. The images were returned, serving as a poignant symbol of the resilience and unity of the human spirit in the face of adversity. And so, the chilling Christmas night became a part of the town's history. It was a night of horror and devastation, but also of resilience and unity. It was a night that reminded everyone of the fragility of life and the strength of the human spirit. And above all, it was a night that proved that even in the darkest of times, hope and kindness can prevail.